Alright, my PlayStation finally decided that it knew how to read discs. So I'm gonna quickly take advantage and do the senior Manx like I wanted to. Hopefully this thing fixes itself at some point, and hopefully some point soon. Otherwise, I'm gonna be. What's that thing where like you're not happy? Can anyone? There's a word for it, and I know there's a word for it, but I can't remember. Also, I really want to ride this HM plant Honda that I've managed to find. I didn't expect to come across this bike, but I've now come across it. I don't know what Oh, it was from the adverts that come on before uh Bike Havoc. You remember Bike Havoc, the DVD from your boy's Duke video? You remember Bike Havoc? I think it's John McGuinness talks about it, because this would have been in about 2005. Yeah, probably about the same year that this game came out, the HM Plant Honda. There's a little scene of talking to John McGuinness, and he says something along the lines of he always has to make sure that he has a bike for the Southern 100, and if he didn't have a bike, he'd probably go out and steal one. So what I've done here is stolen his bike back from him, and we're going to take it for one quick lap of the TT course before my PlayStation remembers that it doesn't know how to read any discs that aren't blue. Because it used to be the other way around. It used to be that my PlayStation could read regular discs just fine, and it would reject the idea that blue discs even existed. But over these past couple of days, ever since I tried to play Ridge Racer 5, it's really gone in the opposite direction, and the PlayStation has decided that blue discs are the only ones that exist, but they only exist when you flip the PlayStation upside down and force it to read them. So I've tried that with a couple of regular discs and it hasn't worked. But yeah, over the last 2 days of me trying to play this game, because actually no, yeah, the last 2 days I'll say, because I recorded the lightweight one, the one with the 250s, and I recorded the junior Manx GP yesterday. And the PlayStation spends a lot of time trying to insist that this game, Gran Turismo Concept 2002, and I think it's, yeah, Need for Speed Underground. It keeps trying to tell me that they're not PlayStation or PlayStation 2 format discs, which is very weird and not what should be happening. In case you didn't know. It reads Enthusia Professional Racing just fine, which I find doubly weird, because when I got delivered Enthusia, I could hear the package rattling as I brought it up the stairs, and then when I finally opened up the game case, like the disc was just floating around in there, because the thing that it pops into is broken, which is exactly what happened when I ordered Need for Speed Underground 2, and that game runs fine, but just about everything I've bought for my original Xbox, except for the first time I bought Forza 1, has worked just fine. Because the first time I bought Forza 1, apparently the guy at the counter didn't check it properly, and there's just a huge chunk of the silver bit on the bottom of the disc just missing. So it loads up to the main menu just fine, but anything beyond that, it entirely rejects. Another thing to talk about is last night when I had to redo the 250 and the Junior Manx, because as you will have seen at the end of the video for the Junior Manx GP, that's the one with the 600s, for all of you who weren't paying attention or were paying attention to the wrong thing. At the very end of that race, after I'd crossed the finish line, it said that it couldn't validate the disc anymore. And I don't know why it needs to validate the disc after you've already started. Surely it would only need to validate the disc to read it initially, and then everything after that is just, displaying data from the disc. That makes sense to me, but apparently that's not how it works. So I had to hit reset on the PlayStation, and unfortunately, I'd forgotten to save after completing the lightweight, so I had to redo both of those races. And while I was on a roll of playing the game, I decided to go on one of my different save files that I've got for this game, because I have 3. One of them is my dad's, and it's years and years and years old, and he put a cheat code in to unlock everything. One of them is mine from about 2 years ago when I was gonna Let's Play this game, and then the third one is obviously this one that I'm Let's Playing the game on now. Just be careful not to fall down. Yeah, so I went on the dad's one with the cheat code, and I had to go at the Formula 1 TT because that's the longest race in the game, 4 laps of the course. And I have managed to find out what the little green icon down in the corner there means. You know, you can go into the pits and change your tires and get refueled. Bikes, well, at least the 1000cc Kawasaki Ninja lasts 2¼ laps before it just completely runs out. So that's what you have to be careful of. And you can't switch to reserve fuel like you can on a real bike. They probably took that out to save weight. So I am going to have to pit after 2 laps of the course on any race that's longer than that. But that's fine, I can deal with that. There's only like 1 or 2 that are actually longer than 2 laps in this game, so that's fine. I don't know how it's going to be on the new game coming out, whether or not, you know, we're going to be doing millions and millions of laps on that when I eventually get it. Because, you know, right now, the Team VVV footage they just put out, like yesterday, they did that 17-minute preview video of just going through some of the fantasy tracks and some of the a couple of sectors of the full circuit, because they have some kind of demo version to play to promote the game. Yeah, I don't know what I'm thinking so far. I don't know if I like it or not. Because on one hand, it could be pretty good. You know, he says it's Alan from Team VVV says it's fun, says it's pretty good. On the other hand, you know, I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, you know. So I don't know. I'll have to wait until I actually get that game. Probably not soon, but I don't know. A little while down the line. I'll have to wait and see how that all works out and if that's any good or not. I'm definitely going to play it because there's a whole bunch of shit games that I'm planning to play on this channel that I know are pretty poor. Like MX World Tour and MX 2002 featuring, is it Ricky Carmichael? They're both basically the same game, but no, they're not. MX 2002 is worse because the physics feel worse, but I don't know, I guess it... Oh, whatever, I'll play those when I play those. Right now we're playing TT Superbikes. It's actually a really good game. You might be thinking that the quality of this one is maybe slightly less than the last 2 videos that I uploaded of this game. That's because I was messing around with the recording quality slider again. Because I noticed that it is possible for me to crank the quality all the way up for my PS2 and my original Xbox. But when I do that, it makes like a 15-minute video, almost 2 gigabytes. So I halved the quality, and I don't know how that's going to work out, but I think for my Xbox, because that's records in 480p, I'll crank that up to maybe 3/4, and then the PS2 I'll leave it about half, or probably slightly less when I eventually get to, you know, the Formula 1 TT, which is going to take around about an hour to do. But as usual, bridges being crossed when I arrive at them. I'll see how I feel about file sizes, I'll see how much anime I have downloaded, and figure out how much space I can actually use. Because I also need to think about processing the videos as well. But because at that point there'll be 2 copies of the video file on my computer. You know, this stuff, I don't think about it very much, but you know, sometimes it dawns on me that it's actually kind of important to maybe think about every once in a while. So I don't know. Well, that's just about everything that I... Well, let's talk about the game I was playing a minute ago. The Blue Disc game that I forced to work to remind my PlayStation that it does know how to read stuff. I think that might be my solution from now on, is just jam a Blue Disc game in first. Then, you know, load that up. Shove a Silver Disc game in there instead and hit reset. And then, you know, maybe hit it once or twice. Just get the PlayStation warmed up first, I think helps for some reason. And that should help me, play the games that I want to play. I don't know. Hopefully, when it's not half term anymore, and you know we're back in the week, because the PlayStation, like I said a little while ago, I think in one of my MotoGP Ultimate Racing Technology 3 videos on my second channel, the PlayStation, I reckon it has working hours where there's some time of the day where it's happy to read discs, and then some time of the day where it just tells you to jog on. So usually during the week I'm lucky enough to catch it during a time where it's okay to record, but I mean load, read even. But it seems like during like half terms and stuff like it is now, I can only ever catch it when it's being uppity, so I don't know what I'll do if it starts fucking me over during the week, because I already have a limited amount of time to record as is. So I'd appreciate it if the PlayStation could quit being a cunt. I need to remember to never play Ridge Racer 5 again. I wish I could go back in time to before I put Ridge Racer 5 into my PlayStation and smack myself for doing something so stupid. Especially after I'd read all that stuff about how Ridge Racer 5 like is linked internally to like the PlayStation BIOS or something. I really shouldn't have, you know, an ancient PS2 that's already on its last legs. I really shouldn't have tried putting it through that, and I did, and now I'm paying the price. I don't know. It's just a little bit more effort to get some of it. Managed to catch that one. It's a little bit more effort to get some of these games working now, and I haven't been able to run Need for Speed Underground since I put it in. But I have until like the week. I have a little while before I've got to record that again, so it's all fine. I'm only recording extra TT Superbikes because the full TT races will be so long. There's no way I could do 6 of those in one recording session, like I'd need to keep up with the demand that I put on myself. That I like having, because I like playing tons and tons of games, and I've got a lot of games that... Shit, fuck, I finally fell. There's a lot of games that I want to get through on this channel. As we know, I plan to play every racing game released between 1995 and 2020. So that's going to take me a little while. You know, it's not every single racing game released in that period. It's just like the majority. There are a lot that I plan on skipping out. Mostly it's kart races that I don't want to play, and that kind of thing. But also anything that like wasn't printed onto a disc, I'll probably skip. Really, it all depends on how I'm feeling each day of the week. My plans change constantly. I come up with them, and then I'm constantly going back to tinker them to the point that I might as well not have made a plan at all, because of like how little I pay attention to my plans and stuff. But I finally managed to overtake that Honda, the red Honda. And make it stick. I know, because of the Formula 1 practice TT that I ran, I know that I can do a lap of the full course on a 1000 in 17 minutes dead, and I could probably dip into the really high 16 minutes if I like put my mind to it and really focused. You know, but that's from like a running start. and you know, not having to commentate, so I can put my full concentration on riding the bike and that kind of thing. So, you know, don't expect too much out of the actual videos. Just know that I am really very good at this game, and if you ever have a problem with me and you want to 1v1 it, we can do lap times, standing start, 750cc, 1 lap. Whoever gets the best time was in the right, you know? That's how I'm going to settle things on the internet from now on. Which, oh fuck, there goes the second time. And that's useful for me because not really anyone else has this game. So I should be able to win any arguments easily by virtue of being the only one that's actually able to set a time. Or maybe the disc will refuse to read when it comes to duel time, and I'll end up being the one that doesn't get to set a time. How embarrassing would that be? I don't know, I feel like my PlayStation is coming back to me a little bit after the debacle of Ridge Racer. Maybe I'll leave Ridge Racer to be the last game I ever play on my PS2 for the channel will be Ridge Racer 5. Once I've got through every other PS2 game, then I can play Ridge Racer. But until then, I'll have to deal with Ridge Racer 6 and Ridge Racer Unbounded being played first. Can't really record my PS3. After I complete a couple of games on my second channel, I'll try making a Let's Play of MotorStorm. And then we can all see what the Elgato does when you present it with a PS3. It really has a pretty significant falling out. Or at least with the kind of ghetto setup that I have to give it. I mean, you know, it works, it displays. It's not a very pretty display, but it's a display. It's very standard definition, if you will. Oh shit! Oh, you gotta avoid the pavement. I think anyone would have been able to tell you that, but it's true. The motorbike is supposed to be on the bit of the road where motorbikes are supposed to be, and once you get off that part of the road, then you're in trouble. So here we go, final corner, round Governor's Dip. I'm going to bring the HM Plant Suzuki home. Should be a very comfortable victory. Every other time I've gone a full lap of the TT course, I've been about 2 minutes ahead of everyone else. Let's see if I can pull one of those major wheelies that they do all the way up the start-finish straight. Nope, not quite, and I've managed to ditch it, but the bike crossed the line for me. So there we go. Yeah, 2 minutes 20 seconds ahead of the next guy, which is fine by me. Hopefully the disc will read so I can see my podium. Don't hold your breath, but I mean, hopefully. There we go. Unlocked a bunch of what's that? That'll be exhaust and wheel parts, I think. And a new bike. I don't know what class that bike will be in. Probably in 1000. And I've unlocked a bunch more TT events. The lightweight, the proddy, and the big proddy. Like I said, I want to try and do the TT events in the order that they were done in real life, which means starting with sidecar A. But I'll have to look into how everything works out. And since it's only Tuesday, I could probably start... Wait, is it only Tuesday? Yeah, because the Pizza Party podcast got uploaded today. Oh, sweet. So I still have like nearly a whole week of half term left. I could definitely do a whole bunch of the TT in that time, so I think I will. So come back next week as we finally move up to the big boy event and sidecar A to start out the TT. I'm gonna save before the... I was about to say I'm pumped, but I'm gonna save before the disc decides that it doesn't know which direction to spin.